All right, so let's take a look at where we left off. Holding control here and clicking, you can see that we have our walk stops down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this model into maybe Maya or Blender and just rotate. And I'll make a video on that later after I get all this stuff done. All right, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at implementing our animations into our scene. So let's go back to our demo scene here. Okay, so let's go back to our models folder here. And we want to look for our SKM boy. This is our skeletal mesh. And I want to right click on this and I want to create an animation blueprint. And what you can do here is, and like if you click on it, it says animation blueprint here, is we really could just drag this. Let's see where our blueprints. Extend this up a little bit. And grab this animation blueprint and drop it in our blueprints folder to select move here. And let's go ahead and open this up and make sure that it docks at the top here. And also, it says SKM boy animation blueprint. Just to keep with convention, I'm going to hit F2 here. And I'm just going to call this AB_boy for animation blueprint boy. And just so that, again, we're following the same convention like if we're working at a specific studio. All right, so let's take a look at what this is. In the middle here, we have, just like our event graph, we have a little blueprint area here that we can drag and set things up. In the left-hand window here, we have our previewer. So for example, if I right-click in here and I type in run, you can see that, let's see. I want to grab the run for our character, so I forget, did I name it boy? Or you know what, let's type in play. I think that's what it is, underscore. And here we go. Here we go. Play idle, play left strafe, play right. So if I click on play idle here and I wire this directly into this result here and I compile and I save that, you can see that this preview in the corner is playing the idle. But we have an entire blend space that we set up. Remember this SKM boy blend space here? Actually, we should just rename this blend space. Let's go back and fix that too. So let's go to our blend space here, and here's our 2D. I'm going to hit F2 on this, and I'm going to name this BS for blend space underscore boy underscore 2D. Again, I renamed it by hitting F2. And now inside of here, if I right click and I type in BS underscore, you can see that we have our blend space boy underscore 2D, and it has those two parameters that we had before. Remember we set up turning and acceleration. We have those set up here. So we can actually wire this in here and then hit compile and save. And you can see here that this, if I double click this, we get the same access to the same blend space that we created earlier. And it's just inside of this view here. So I'm going to hit back to my animation graph. So you can see that we have it here. Also, if we turn on turning here and I type in like 50 here, let's compile this. It'll update the preview. And let's zero that out, because let's just make the acceleration 100 and then compile that. Oops, we did 10. There we go, compile that. You can see now our character's running. So this is another way of adjusting the values. Let's just make them both 0 for now so that we're dead center, and let's compile that. I'm also going to just make sure I save this out. All right, so in order to wire this up so that it connects to our other blueprint, is we need to have some variables connected to turning as well as acceleration. So inside here, go ahead and press plus and change it from a Boolean here to a float. A float is just a decimal value, because notice that this is a numerical decimal value and we're typing in numbers, or we're going to be, when we press W, we have a gradation of numbers. That means 1.1, 1.2, all the way up to 2. And so for this, we're going to, I just right clicked on that to give me the option to rename it, or you could press F2. And I'm going to type in turn rate here. And with that, I can drag that out onto here, and I'm going to hit get turn rate, and I'm just going to wire that directly in there. And then we're going to be accessing this variable through our other blueprint. All right, let's do another variable here, and it should just remember, and it did, that it's a float. So let's type in acceleration rate, and I'm going to drag that in, and I'm going to just drop that, get that, and drop it, connect it to acceleration rate. So now we have two variables that we can adjust in our other blueprint. Again, let's compile and save this. And as we adjust these values for turn rate and acceleration rate from our other blueprint. Now, here's something else I want you to notice is this is all kind of one ecosystem, right? So right now we are in our animation blueprint. Well, if I click on this, this will take me to my blend shape, right? And if I click on this, this will take me to my boy static mesh, and then this will take me to my joints, my skeletal mesh. So because we've been wiring or connecting these all together, you can see we've got all these different tabs, and that shows that it's one sequence. So you don't necessarily even have to go through these tabs, but just wanted to show you that as well. Now, one more thing is if you want to adjust the variable values and see it update in the view, you could see we have an acceleration rate, and I could just move this to the right and to the left by just left clicking inside of here, and I can adjust that rate. Now, we're not going to get much for turning rate because really the turning, we don't have a left and right turning, right? We dragged in inside of here. Remember our acceleration, when we go down here, our idle is exactly the same. I don't have an idle left and an idle right. Same thing with this run stop, they're all the same. Once I adjust those, or once I create those animations for you, what happens is as you move this the acceleration rate, or sorry, the turn rate rather, when you move the turn rate, it'll actually turn the character, and that's pretty nice because you could turn and run and stuff. So let's compile and save that. And like I said, I'll make a bonus video where I fix those animations, and it's really just going to be me rotating the character. All right, so that's kind of the basics of animation blueprints. There's an event graph here, which I'm not really going to use because we want to use our master blueprint, this one right here, the AB boy one, to connect to the animation blueprint. And yeah, so otherwise, pretty much that's it for this video. What we'll do in the next video is we'll actually do the actual connection. And this one, I just want to kind of cover animation blueprints.